Michael Jackson is making more money after his death than he ever did when he was alive. Tonight, you'll hear about the most remarkable financial and image resurrection in pop culture history and get a rare look at what Michael Jackson left behind.
Hidden behind the estate's walls, untouched since his passing in June 2009, sit hundreds of recordings that the King of Pop left behind.
Michael Jackson has set another music industry record.
Pop culture icon Michael Jackson has died.
They opened Michael Jackson's vault after 16 years, and everyone froze. This was sort of a time capsule of one of history's most meticulous and prolific artists, a reminder that Jackson's creative energy never slowed, even when the cameras weren't rolling. Today, we'll unlock the secrets. Let's get started. The vault. First thing first, yes, there is a vault. Michael Jackson's audio archives are a vast and largely untapped reservoir, with collaborators such as Bill Bottrell and engineer Bruce Swedian estimating that between 1,000 and 2,000 songs, including demos, unfinished tracks, covers, and recordings from the Jackson 5 era through to his final years, remain unreleased. Many of these works span the decades, tracing back to the 1970s and extending into posthumous remnants discovered in the weeks following his death. Following Jackson's unexpected passing in June 2009, footage uncovered by his sister LaToya revealed 2 hard drives in his Los Angeles home containing over 100 unreleased songs, many unregistered. The sheer number of these recordings drew early attention from the press and fan communities, especially after the brief leak of a 24-second segment of A Place with No Name. The trove of unreleased recordings, collectively known as the Vault, encompasses analog tapes, DATs, digital files, and even hard disks. This body of work includes everything from vocal masterpieces to mere instrumental outlines and scratch vocals. Some tracks, such as Buffalo Bill, would even be considered ready for public release. Others, like 7 Digits, exist as incomplete sketches with partial vocals or simply as instrumental frameworks. Still others feature collaborations with legendary names, notably Freddie Mercury and Barry Gibb, captured in demo form. The control of these vast musical archives passed to the Michael Jackson estate upon his death, jointly overseen by co-executors John Branca and John McClain. Branca, a seasoned entertainment lawyer born in 1950 in Bronxville, New York, had a long association with Jackson, serving as executor of his will as early as July 2009 after being listed in Jackson's final testament. Katherine Jackson, initially contesting the executorship, later withdrew her opposition by November 2009, affirming Branca and McClain's role in stewarding Michael's legacy. Within months of assuming control, the estate negotiated a landmark recording agreement with Sony Music. In March 2010, a deal was struck with Sony's Columbia Epic label group and Legacy Recordings that renewed a 30-year relationship and included plans to release new projects featuring unreleased recordings, most notably an album anticipated for November 2010. This deal, valued at $250 million, granted Sony rights to Michael Jackson's catalog and the promise of posthumous album releases through 2017. The estate's policy on releases is clear, though. They have stated that releasing raw demos could tarnish Jackson's legacy and fail commercially, noting that Michael himself subscribed to the philosophy that quality goes in before the name goes on. Between 2009 and 2019, the estate produced a substantial catalog of posthumous material. Fan monitoring communities documented that 24 songs were released during that decade, 18 of which were previously unreleased, and of those, 15 appeared in their original unaltered form. Behind the scenes, Michael Jackson's own publishing entity, Mijak Music, formed in 1980, held the rights not only to his own compositions, but to songs strongly associated with other iconic artists. After his death, this catalog was estimated to be worth between $50 million and $100 million, before rising to $150 million within a year. In 2010, under Branca's oversight, the estate signed a $250 million administration deal with Sony Music for 7 years. That arrangement was renewed in 2018 under similar terms. Later, in 2016, Sony acquired the estate's 50% stake in Sony ATV for approximately $750 million, although the estate retained control over Mijak Music and master rights, contributing to a fortune now estimated in the multi-billion-dollar range. In December 2024, an extraordinary cache of 12 unreleased Michael Jackson tapes, dating from the late 1980s to early 1990s, surfaced in a San Fernando Valley storage unit once owned by producer Brian Loren. Found by ex-officer Greg Musgrove, these tapes included finished tracks such as Don't Believe It, addressing media speculation, and 7 Digits, as well as an unexpected duet with LL Cool J titled Truth on Youth. Despite Musgrove's goodwill in sharing them, the estate refused to purchase the tapes, maintaining that copyright remained under its control and leaving the recordings unlikely to be released publicly in the immediate future. From the Jackson Vault, whether preserved among Mijak Music holdings, safeguarded digitally, or resting in forgotten storage, it is clear that a monumental archive exists, with only a fraction ever shared with the world. Posthumous albums like 2010's Michael and 2014's Escape offered a small sample of Jackson's breadth. Many finished vocals chosen carefully for release, while countless others remain shielded by copyright, legal strategy, and the estate's commitment to preserving Michael's legacy. So, what has the world seen so far? And what remains hidden? Let's start with the former. Official posthumous releases. In October 2009, nearly 5 months after Michael Jackson's death on June 25th, the world received Michael Jackson's This Is It, a 2-disc posthumous soundtrack released on October 26, 2009. It accompanied the concert film documenting Jackson's rehearsals for the London This Is It series and included 6 previously unreleased recordings alongside previously released hits. The album debuted at #1 in 14 countries, including the United States, Canada, Japan, Italy, and France, and by March 2010 had sold approximately 5 million copies worldwide. The album also ranked as the 12th best-selling album of 2009 in the US, and the 3rd best globally that year. Its title track garnered a Grammy nomination in 2011 for Best Male Pop Vocal Performance. The first full-fledged posthumous studio album, Michael, arrived on December 10, 2010, via Epic Records and Sony Music. It was compiled from recordings with vocal tracks from as early as 1982 up to 2008, with production and mixing completed in 2010. The album featured 10 tracks, including major singles: Hold My Hand, a duet with Akon, Hollywood Tonight, and Breaking News, among others. Hold My Hand was recorded in December 2007 at the studio at the Palms in Las Vegas, Nevada, after songwriter Claude Kelly and Akon originally crafted it with Whitney Houston in mind. Akon later brought it to Jackson, who contributed before his passing. A handwritten note from Jackson's estate indicated his intention for it to be the lead single on his next project. The song leaked in June 2008, a few days before Jackson's death, and was officially released on November 15, 2010. It became his 48th, or per some sources, 49th entry on the Billboard Hot 100 and achieved top 10 positions in multiple countries. Fans recognized it as Jackson's first top 40 Hot 100 hit since Butterflies in 2002. Hollywood Tonight had its origins during the Invincible era. Jackson worked on an initial sketch around 1999 and revisited it in 2007 with collaborator Brad Buxer in Las Vegas. After his passing, Teddy Riley and producer Theron Nephew Feimster completed it, with Riley contributing a new bridge. The song premiered on The Ellen DeGeneres Show on December 3, 2010, and was sent to radio starting in February and April 2011, depending on the region. Breaking News led the promotional rollout with a teaser released on November 5, 2010, featuring a montage of news anchors discussing Jackson. The full track was made available on his official site on November 8th for limited listening. Despite its attention-grabbing title, its release sparked controversy, as some listeners questioned the authenticity of the vocals, which dampened the album's broader reception. The album spawned 4 official singles: Hold My Hand, Hollywood Tonight, Behind the Mask, and I Like the Way You Love Me, with regional radio rollouts in early 2011. In response to vocal authenticity disputes, especially surrounding Breaking News, Monster, and Keep Your Head Up, these 3 tracks were removed from streaming platforms and later versions of the album, including the 2022 edition. The next major posthumous studio release was Escape, issued on May 13, 2014 via Epic Records. Curated and executive produced by Epic chairman L.A. Reid, the album comprised 8 unreleased Jackson tracks from his vault, recorded between the early 1980s and late 1990s. High-profile producers, including Timbaland, Rodney Jerkins, Stargate, Jerome Jrock Harmon, and John McClane, were enlisted to modernize the sound with contemporary production techniques. Love Never Felt So Good, an original from 1983, co-written with Paul Anka, served as Escape's lead single. It debuted in the iTunes Top 5 in the US, quickly climbed to number 1 in 17 countries, and reached the top 5 in 67 more within its first 24 hours of release. It marked Jackson's 49th entry on the Hot 100. The deluxe edition of Escape also included the original demos, including a version featuring Justin Timberlake as a duet, as well as other untouched recordings. Critical reception of Escape varied, while the updated production of Love Never Felt So Good was praised for retaining Jackson's signature melodic charm. Other tracks like Slave to the Rhythm, Do You Know Where Your Children Are?, and the title track drew mixed feedback for feeling less authentic or overly polished. Reviewers noted that the album reflected Jackson's shifting tone in his later years, with darker and more anxious themes present in many of the unreleased tracks. Beyond studio albums, Jackson's posthumous catalog also includes curated compilations and multimedia releases. In 2011, Immortal, the soundtrack to Cirque du Soleil's Michael Jackson, The Immortal World Tour, presented a medley of remixed and reimagined hits, such as Working Day and Night, Thriller, Beat It, and Man in the Mirror, all marked as Immortal Version. Later, on September 29, 2017, the estate released Scream, a Halloween-themed compilation featuring previously released tracks that fit a spooky or eerie ambiance. Songs like Thriller, Blood on the Dance Floor, and the mashup Blood on the Dance Floor X Dangerous appeared in digital singles and the compilation itself. But there's a lot more in the vault, and most of it will never see the light of day. Confirmed unreleased songs and collaborations. Producers and collaborators, among them Rodney Jerkins, Teddy Riley, Akon, and William, have publicly affirmed the existence of dozens of recordings made with Jackson that were never officially released. Rodney Darkchild Jerkins, who worked with Jackson in the late 1990s and early 2000s, remarked shortly before Jackson's passing that some of the stuff that didn't come out was some of the best stuff that we did, and that he had taped sessions he considered valuable enough to offer to the estate and Sony, though neither entity accepted them. Among the known unreleased titles, Work That Body stands as one of the most documented. Written and produced by Jackson with Brian Loren between October 4th, 1989 and April 10th, 1990 at Westlake Recording Studios in North Hollywood, the track was intended for the Dangerous album and slated for a special edition before remaining unreleased. It leaked online on December 5th, 2007 in several versions, including a 330 edit, a longer version, and a full 704 mix, some of which appeared in tapes found later in 2024 and auctioned in 2025. Another track, Blue Gangsta, was originally written and composed by Jackson and Dr. Freeze during the 1998 to 1999 sessions for Invincible. Though it didn't make that album, it resurfaced on 2014's X-Escape in a reworked form with production by Timbaland and Jerome J. Rock Harmon. The original version had leaked in late 2010, but the album version featured updated production while retaining Jackson's original vocal essence. The somber and socially conscious Do You Know Where Your Children Are was initially recorded during the Bad Sessions in 1986 and revisited in the Dangerous Sessions in 1990. Reworked for X-Scape between 2013 and 2014 with Timbaland and J-Rock, the song addresses disturbing themes of child abuse and exploitation based on a note Jackson left describing a girl escaping abuse only to encounter greater threats. Sexual ML2 intrigue and cross-genre ambition are evident in Jackson's collaborative work with Freddie Mercury. Tracks like State of Shock and There Must Be More to Life Than This were laid down in 1983 during sessions held at Jackson's Encino residence. Mercury provided vocals, and Jackson contributed to Mercury's piano tracks. Though the collaborative demos leaked online, neither version was officially released. State of Shock was eventually re-recorded by the Jacksons with Mick Jagger and appeared on their 1984 Victory album, while There Must Be More to Life Than This remained unreleased until a Queen plus Michael Jackson version surfaced on the Queen Forever compilation in 2014. Rodney Jerkins' sessions with Jackson also produced tracks like Get Your Weight Off of Me, a Dark Child track from the Invincible era that remains unreleased. Jerkins confirmed that although he had the recordings and even video footage of the sessions, none have been made public. The Michael Jackson Wiki and archival databases list numerous other titles not formally released, including Willing and Waiting, co-written with Babyface, submitted for history but unused, Why Can't I Be, a 1984 demo for the Triumph album, and Work That Body, as already noted among about 20 to 25 tracks recorded with Brian Loren between 1989 and 1991. A comprehensive posthumous inventory from enthusiasts notes additional projects, songs such as Maybe We Can Do It, co-written with Rodney Jerkins and Sean Combs, recorded between 1999 and 2002, 1998's Monster, described by engineer Michael Prince as having a dark, layered sound, 1999's On My Anger with Teddy Riley, and Rocker, an incendiary piece recorded in a bathroom at Neverland Ranch. William recalled working on at least 5 songs with Jackson between 2006 and 2007, exploring stylistic influences from Estelle's American Boy to dance-oriented tracks reminiscent of the Jacksons' Can You Feel It. One such song, I Will Miss You, served as a tribute to James Brown but remains unreleased. Akon, who collaborated extensively with Jackson in the mid-2000s, revealed that many of their recordings remained unfinished. Jackson reportedly paused the work to concentrate on preparing for his London '02 comeback concert series. In total, the confirmed unreleased works span multiple eras, from the Jackson 5 beginnings through Bad, Dangerous, Invincible, and Jackson's preparation for his 2009 comeback. These include collaborations with top-tier producers and artists, spanning socially conscious narratives, club-ready grooves, funk pop experiments, and cross-genre duets. They remain unreleased due to estate control, artistic considerations, unresolved collaborations. Opening the vault. Since Michael Jackson's passing in June 2009, the King of Pop's estate has adopted a selective approach to posthumous releases, drawing deliberately from his vault instead of fully opening it. Moreover, the reputation of Michael Jackson has long been entwined with both his towering artistic achievements and the darker controversies that shadowed his later years. The release of Leaving Neverland in 2019, a 4-hour HBO documentary in which Wade Robson and James Safechuck alleged abuse, reignited global debate over Jackson's life. In the weeks after it aired, several radio stations in Canada, New Zealand, and parts of Europe temporarily removed his music from their playlists, while companies like Louis Vuitton distanced themselves from Jackson-related campaigns. Even so, the estate's official line has remained steady. Decisions about releasing music are primarily governed by artistic and business considerations, not reputational ones. John Branca, co-executor of the Michael Jackson estate, has emphasized in interviews that their responsibility is to safeguard Michael's creative legacy. Any release must align with the quality and vision Jackson demanded during his lifetime. This is why only a fraction of the vault has been tapped. The estate has aimed to keep Jackson's name associated with artistic excellence, avoiding the risk of overwhelming fans with unfinished demos or material that might dilute his catalog. The commercial framework surrounding Jackson's vault further supports this strategy. Despite the controversies, Jackson's music remains highly profitable. While the estate cannot ignore shifts in media narratives or the impact of scandals on public opinion, its actual actions have reflected a calculated approach rooted in legacy management and financial stewardship. Rather than reacting directly to the cycles of criticism, the estate has continued to focus on maximizing the cultural and economic weight of Jackson's music. This explains why there has been no comprehensive opening of the vault. Instead, fans have seen carefully timed projects tied to anniversaries, such as the 25th anniversary editions of Bad and Dangerous, or the Thriller 40 release in 2022. So, what is still in the vault? Engineers like Bill Bottrell and Bruce Swedian estimate that the archive of unreleased work could span 1,000 to 2,000 songs. While LaToya Jackson reported finding over 100 unreleased songs in 2009, and IRS experts later confirmed at least 105 viable tracks, Sony uncovered thousands of tape fragments, with only a fraction deemed usable. Industry figures such as Tommy Mottola confirmed the existence of dozens and dozens of unreleased songs. Fan awareness of the vault, fueled by leaks, interviews, and even the 2024 discovery of 12 cassette recordings in a San Fernando Valley storage unit, continues to generate speculation, though the estate declined to exploit those tapes, citing copyright and quality concerns. Controversies over vocal authenticity on Michael and the curated nature of Xscape illustrate how each release is shaped by artistic integrity, commercial viability, and legal oversight. For now, the estate ties new material only to select projects, such as anniversaries, themed albums, or multimedia ventures, while keeping the bulk of Jackson's unreleased work tightly guarded, ensuring that any future output enhances rather than diminishes his legacy. Well, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Did you like this video? If you did, please consider liking, dropping a comment, and hitting the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on our new uploads. Also, don't miss this video you see on your screen right now. It's truly unbelievable.